talk about? Swing or not? Like, gonna come up to me, bro, why are you being racist to other people in other countries? For money? For clout?
You know what?
You're being racist to people for other countries because of money? Because of money? Bro, I hope someone takes $100 bill, a few of them, and just pushes it in his mouth until he chokes on that shit. Like, seriously, what the hell are we even talking about here? Like, the ordinary gamer over here, Mudahar. I can't believe I'm actually not subscribed. Kind of crazy. But there is I don't even want to call him a creator. There's a human scum of the earth who likes to record himself live creating crimes, Johnny Somali. And he went to a trip to South Korea and found himself getting mixed up with a Korean Special Forces Army Ranger, like the worst kind of guy to get fucked up, like in the mix with. And Johnny is just a degenerate loser.
Hello, guys and gals, me, Mudahar, and you know what,
Hey,
ladies
Mudahar.
and gentlemen, travel channels and, like, you know, IRL streaming are just one of those things where it's like you're either really good
Or
or
really
you're
bad.
really evil. Now, judging by the title of the video, we're looking at our favorite hemorrhoid on the planet, Johnny Somali, a man
Calling him a hemorrhoid is insulting to other hemorrhoids because they're not nearly this bad.
that has basically made a mockery of himself in numerous countries and has become one of the most awful American tourists one can imagine. Now, when it comes to IRL streaming, you got people like Francois Harris, who basically upload videos where he talks about, you know, him in South Korea, all right, having a good time, a travel vlogger, a pretty wholesome lad.
If you guys have a travel blogger that is specifically in India or Japan, please link them in the comments down below. I would love to see what India is actually like from a, you know, vlogging point of stance. Same thing with Japan.
And now he's got to be pretty much thrown up alongside the other American, Johnny Somali. Now, Johnny Somali, we talked about a long time ago, but recently he's been kind of like the target, the actual target number one in South Korea. He's basically being hunted down by actual Navy SEALs at this point and beaten within an inch of his life.
Good.
Now, you might be like, whoa, Muda, that's not fair. Ladies and gentlemen, he's made a complete nuisance of himself. Nuisance streaming is one of these things, if you're in Asia, a lot of people will go there and make a fool out of themselves. And look, if you've ever been to an Asian country like Japan or
Logan Paul.
China or South Korea or really any Asian country in general, they're pretty nice people, okay? But there is a
Yeah, the culture, it's amazing how respectful the culture is, but if you go there and spit on that respect, boy, are you going to get a medieval ass whooping like no other. And medieval is not even the right word because that's kind of like saying European. In Japan, they put you in hot water and boil your ass.
a level of
Like you're fucking
respect
gumbo.
that you gotta have for the area, something Johnny was not providing. So one of the clips floating around was Johnny just walking outside, and eventually he was followed by this actual, South Korean streamer. Now, I can't show you this entire clip, but at one point, the South Korean streamer decides to knock the ever-loving shit out of Johnny Somali. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, like, law enforcement get involved, and it seems as though while the cops are confused, this guy was the one who brought the actual beatdown. Now, who is this streamer in particular? Well, I had to look him up, and apparently he was
He's
a
a
pretty
badass.
popular South Korean streamer by the name of, let me dig it up. Now, allegedly, that man is Yoo Dal-gyun, okay? I hope I pronounced that right. Obviously, it's
Yo.
not my first language. But this person is apparently an ex-UDT SEAL, an actual Navy SEAL equivalent, an actual Special Forces person. Remind you, this is a man that literally has gotten paid to... This is a guy that has shot people in the face with a gun.
Yeah, this guy is a real life badass. When you're watching Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, this is it's a South Korean version of it.
This is a dude that sticks the
Not
K-bar
Mudahar.
into your throat and goes, shh, 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 it's all over now, buddy. This is the guy hunting down Johnny Somali. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just that, okay? To understand, Johnny Somali, ever since he came over here, has pretty much asked South Korea to beat the living shit out of him to no avail. Listen to this one.
So what do you want to talk about? Swing or not? Like, gonna come up to me, bro, why are you being racist to other people in other countries? For money? For clout?
You know what?
You're being racist to people for other countries because of money? Because of money? Bro, I hope someone takes $100 bill, a few of them, and just pushes it in his mouth until he chokes on that shit. Like, seriously, what the hell are we even talking about here?
I will say, at least he's honest. For money. That's why I'm being a nuisance. For money.
Out! I said it.
Yeah, sometimes just lie. In this case, just lie. Don't be honest. Like, Goddamn.
Many times. I don't give a I have
And 7,500 upvotes, 634 comments. This guy maybe has like what, 10K views total?
morals. I'm a sociopath. I don't give a Put this in your next YouTube documentary. I don't give a swing on it.
Well, he said put it in the next YouTube video. So, Johnny, if you come at this video with a DMCA strike, I know that you have to make a fool out of yourself to be money. But to make money, I will actually take you to goddamn any court imaginable if you decide to take this video down with a false DMCA strike. I promise to God, I promise on everything imaginable I will. So,
And I'll do the same.
anyways, Johnny brings his like one dude over here, and there's like, all right, bring it on, bring it up. So again, in South Korea, they weren't dicking around. There's been an entire compilation of them getting their asses beat. So watch this. So right over here, he's trying to make a mockery of himself, and boom, they're coming up and doing like jump kicks and
Leg
chasing
moves,
this man
tornado
down the
kick.
street. Now,
He literally went into a fight with the Street Fighter and he said, bet. Hadouken!
now, the amount of times that Johnny has kept getting his ass handed to him, you would think that he, like, you know, Yakuza is actually based on reality. There's a big game franchise I play called Yakuza, and like in it, like every like 5-10 steps you take, somebody wants to start a fight with you. Johnny has pissed off a country so much that he is getting into more street fights per meter traveled than Kazuma Kiryu at this point, okay? It's wild. Now you might be like, well, what did he do to make them so mad? Now, in the words of Thugnificent, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny has decided to make some kind of content that has absolutely enraged the user base. Now, if you go to a country, there's a certain level of respect you have to have, right?
You should.
You know, I don't go to Saudi Arabia and start knocking back some Jack Daniels, okay?
Fair, right? Show a little respect.
Unless I'm expecting a beheading or I want that to happen, sure, then I'll start breaking some laws. But here's one clip of Johnny basically going up in front of the statue and giving it a lap dance to the point where he is literally like actually going onto it, like literally actually harming this goddamn, like this poor statue is doing nothing wrong. So he's doing this pretty much out in public. And
Could you imagine the fecal matter that's just being built up from this shit stain?
there's people who are obviously watching this happen, right? And you might be wondering, okay, Muda, why is this so bad? You know, don't just like drunk people do this in general. No, to give you an idea, this is actually a comfort woman statue. Now, a comfort woman, for anybody that doesn't know, is basically referring to women and girls who have been forced into sexual slavery by the Imperial Japanese Armed Forces in occupied countries during and before the Second World War. This is actually something that I knew about, I researched. It's not something that's new to me during this video. During World War II, there's a lot of fucked up shit you should research.
Yeah.
But Japan was apparently involved in actually, you know, taking advantage of these women. They were literally, you know, referred to as these comforting, consoling women. And they were all from Australia, Burma, China, the Netherlands, Philippines, Japan, Korea, Indonesia, East Timor, New Guinea. But again,
All beautiful places with beautiful women. And does that not sound like early OnlyFans? That's comfort women. Instead of CW, we just got OF now.
and a vast majority of these women were from Korea. So yeah, they were absolutely used for, again, you know, forced sexual labor. And of course, the more you go down into it, apparently historians range somewhere between 50,000 to 200,000 women were unfortunately involved in this disgusting, depraved practice. So that statue is put up as sort of a remembrance, right, to the women that have unfortunately, you know, been thrown into that part of sexual slavery. And this is such a huge deal still to this day for countries like South Korea and Japan when it comes to their international relationships, that for the last few years, for like literally decades at this point, South Korea has been demanding official acknowledgement, and not just acknowledgement that this happened, but a sincere apology and even compensation for those sexual slaves.
Yeah, they look over at America and they see Korean comp making, you know, $3.4 million on titty pictures. They're like, yo, these girls over here were forced to do that. At least give them some type of compensation.
That were used by the Imperial Japanese military. And of course, the more you realize it, back in 2021, even the Prime Minister, Yoshihide Suga, actually did make, you know, administration, like they actually did like make statements where they apologized for Japan's aggression and even admitted the military, the Imperial Army, had that role in comfort women's. So I'm not going to jump too far into this. Obviously, if you want to learn more about this topic,
Sure,
you
go
can.
ahead.
But Johnny is a complete abject dipshit. He has been doing this to not just one statue, but several statues. And this is actually clips that have been taken from like South Korean state media. So it's become such a huge deal that this dipshit is hated on a nationwide scale. Like, you are making national television being a complete idiot. Like,
And what's so frustrating is Johnny probably loves it.
there are points where like really famous like political channels in Korea with like almost 300,000 subscribers are literally talking about the implications and shitting on this man. He has become the poster child for the worst fucking tourist imaginable. And at this point,
It's not even just being a tourist, just being the worst human imaginable.
I have no doubt that the nation of South Korea wants to make a legitimate example out of this guy.
They should.
To show the rest of the world that you can't be a complete dipshit.
Yeah, they should do a traditional beheading, Japanese style, or whatever the equivalent is for Korea in 2024, in the center of the town, make it as medieval possible in a modern day setting, and let that shit sink in. And you can live stream it, put it on his phone and live stream it.
Now, it wasn't just those stats.
It's like the same energy as, I'm sorry, Mudahar. It's like the same energy where we see that, like, in Spain, there was a TV commercial where it was like these people who were throwing paint on, you know, like they'll go to like the Louvre or an art museum and then throw paint on and like put their hands on the wall. It was a TV where somebody did, or a TV commercial where this happened. You had two kids like throw paint and put their hands on the wall, and the manager of the art museum just comes up and bangs both of them, and then stands in front of it. And the way that it's framed, it's like that in itself now is a piece of art. Like, you wanted to stop art? Well, you became art.
Statues that he did, there's like entire compilations of him being a complete idiot. Like, here's one where obviously it's a little bit blurred. It's coming from a channel with like 113 subscribers. They blurred it, which I assume is due to the actual chat that Johnny Somali has in his streams that shows up, because the chat can be really like wild. So obviously, you know, you want to get rid of it. You want to get rid of it per terms of service sake. Okay, not even monetization. You just want your video to be up on the platform. So he's in this like one restaurant, right? Like right over here with like this, you know, ramen, like this instant ramen. And he's just dumping the water all over the table. And from what I understand, he has like an alcoholic beverage that he was drinking in public. And he's just throwing food outside at like people or on the street. It's just insane. This guy is an actual fucking man-child. Now you might be like, Muda, isn't this what he wants? Just attention? May I remind you, not all attention is good attention. When you're being hunted by fucking Navy SEALs and like the general streamer population, it's not good. It doesn't matter if you're famous,
it's not good.
okay? This
That's
man
not
has
good.
already actually legitimately ruined his life.
I would say normally bad publicity is still good publicity at the end of the day, but for Johnny, when you're getting hunted down by like Korean special forces, probably not the best thing.
There's been people talking about like, hey, maybe he's learning that this isn't the right behavior to have, and now that he's getting his ass handed to him, like no tomorrow, maybe he shouldn't have done it. Apparently there's been this rumor that there are Korean live streamers chipping in to give $700 rewards to anybody that finds him and records his movement, like stalk this guy out. Obviously, I don't endorse that behavior. I also can't confirm that behavior is real. But if it's true, this is like some deep web assassination market shit happening for this guy. Just like this like counter like Johnny like fund effectively being shared around South Korean streamers. Now, to go back to the Korean streamer that's been hunting him down, obviously you might be understanding that this guy is hunting him down more for a clout situation, right? Like, this man has kind of turned his career and his like live streams into a hunt down, okay? This man has become, you know, the fucking anti-Somali task force.
Yeah, it's like he goes live and it's like a bounty, like in like you're playing Warzone, like a bounty just pops off and it has a little target right over his location, and he's just trying to run away, and he's just seeing the little red bar just get redder and redder and redder as people are just fucking chasing behind him, looking like I don't know, something like Attack on Titan.
Anti-Johnny Somali task force of South Korea right now, which is insane in of itself. And to be fair, one might be like, wow, I feel bad Johnny's getting his ass kicked. But
no,
the way that you're harassing Koreans and like making a mockery of their country, no one in actual history feels bad about this at all, okay?
No one does. And if anything, people in history, we're going to look at his parents and his grandparents are literally rolling in the grave disowning the kid. When the kid eventually passes and he goes to meet his family in the afterlife, they're going to be like, who the fuck are you? He's like, oh, I'm your kid. No, you're not. You're a fucking cockroach. What are you were alone when you were on Earth. Now that you're here, guess what? You're going to spend eternity also alone. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this guy I really do not fuck with. Johnny Somali is a terrible human being. It literally
couldn't have happened to a more deserving douchebag. And I would never try to pick fights like...
And Mudahar, the ordinary gamer, he's like one of the nicest guys on YouTube. And he's saying this shit. I don't even want to claim to be one of the nicest guys on YouTube. I'm going to be authentic and fight. If I don't like you, you're going to know I don't fuck with you. Johnny Somali, if you ever see this shit, here, let me look you in the eyes. I don't fuck with you, bro.
Like this with a country that has mandatory conscription, okay? In South Korea, after 57, requires male citizens between the age of 18 and 35 to perform compulsory military service. So yeah, in a country where literally every guy is trained to beat ass, I would not be making a fool of myself in that country, okay? It's just things that there's a big difference between, you know, being a douchebag in America, okay, and then being a douchebag here. There's certain states where you probably die for being a douchebag in the US, but in an entire country where they're like military trained, dog, you gotta be thinking better than that.
Yeah, like downtown Atlanta, downtown Chicago, New York, some of these places, New Jersey, like some of these places, Colorado, Aurora, Colorado, you might get fucking shot.
All right, come on now. So apparently this is the police station involved with booking Johnny Somali, the Seoul Mapo police station. Okay, that's a pretty massive police station right there. God damn, whew, they got a crazy police budget out there. God damn. So I might be like, man, after all this Yakuza level beatdown, apparently he is under investigation for obstruction of business and alleged drug use. You know, as a man that uses the term allegedly a lot, I don't even know if it's that valuable either. Like, goddamn. Come on now. The Seoul Mapo police station said he's under investigation for an incident at that convenience store. All right. So apparently Somali allegedly disrupted the store's operation by pouring instant noodles on a table after being stopped from drinking alcohol by an employee. When the employee intervened, he reportedly responded with abusive and vulgar language, because of course he did. And obviously this drew really public attention. So there's a pretty good post on Reddit that kind of talks about this from 2 days ago by a user known as Inevitable Air 1712. So again, not all of this is truly confirmed information, but I'm just going to read this because, you know, this is, again,
Thank you, Budahar.
I just want to preface it by saying, like, none of this is, like, completely verified by me. I don't have the exact arrest records or everything present. I don't think South Korea even necessarily provides that in the same manner that the United States or other countries do.
Yeah, they don't have access.
But
they don't have access to that public
records. He's currently
records.
allegedly being charged for obstruction of justice, which usually is a fine and restraint order. The reason why he's not allowed to leave is because he's currently investigated for drug charges, which is serious in any Asian country, right?
Yep.
Like over here,
They don't like their drugs.
like if you get arrested with like marijuana, it's kind of whatever. But if you get busted with weed out in China, Japan, or South Korea, it is
You're fucked.
fucking terrible. One count of an assault charge and several sexual harassment charges. We don't know how much evidence or how many victims came forward because of this investigation. He is barred from leaving Korea in the meantime.
Sick.
And I doubt the United States is really going to stick their neck out and get Johnny fucking Somali of all people out of South Korea.
I hope not.
This is not happening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Korean streamers looking for his whereabouts, whether to boost their platform or the anger towards his action to those comfort women statues. What people don't know is there are Korean Mafia members who are also searching for him as well.
So literally the Yakuza are after him? Oh my
What they
god.
plan to do is unknown. So again, you never want to piss off a whole country, because the moment you got like the Italian mob, you got the Indian mafia, you got like goddamn Yakuza, you got actual organized criminals allegedly on you. I'm scared, dude. And this guy's famous. He's all over television. Like,
I'd be scared for me, but for Johnny, I don't give a fuck.
he's talked about in political media now. This guy is not going to be able to go anon, right? Like, come on now. You know, it's a thing when you're in a country like Asia, which is like very racially homogenous. Like, once you're out there plastered, people will just know you. You don't just blend in, bro. It's like me going to Japan, all right? People look at me and say chocolate Godzilla because I'm 6'2" for crying out loud. This man is not getting away from anything. There's talks about against Korean government members who want to make an example out of him. Most are parliament members who are up for re-election and want to boost their approval rate. And what better than actually making a fool out of this fucking idiot? So why are Koreans angry? We quite frankly don't care about the incidents you did at the convenience store or you slapping that phone or what you did with the president's picture. Quite frankly, the president has enough critiques against the general public. What we do care about is when you show the Japanese rising sun flag and your actions towards the comfort women statue. What you did was poke at a painful past of our history for our amusement. Yeah, so again, it's not just the fact that he's out there with these comfort women, but allegedly also showing the Imperial Army's flag. Dog, you come on now. You can't be doing that shit. My
When you're going to another country, you gotta show respect for the culture and the people there. Come on.
suggestion would have been for you to apologize, but seeing your latest live stream, you doubled down on your position by portraying yourself as a victim.
Oh
Instead
my
of admitting
God.
what you did was wrong with sincerity. You have already lost your opportunity to apologize. Oh, and the U.S. Embassy talk, they won't help you and aren't really allowed to do anything. They will make sure you receive your rights and counsel, but that's about it. The crimes you committed here while in Korea are here to stay. Korea isn't like Japan where they just ban you. No, the country will make sure you pay for your crimes either by jail sentences or hefty fines.
Yeah, it seems like Japan. Like when Johnny went to Japan, the only thing they were like, stop being an idiot, just apologize. Okay, you apologize, now move on. The Japanese seem very forgive, forget, move on. You know, very honorable people. The Koreans, like me, a little bit more petty. They're gonna want to see you hurt. You made me hurt, cool. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna enjoy watching you hurt a little bit.
And then deport you. I guess my current suggestion is to get a good lawyer if you can one. Dude, he's out there making a fool of himself for money. I doubt he can afford any good lawyers. Get out of here. So he's been slapped with a disturbance of peace charge. According to the law, if Korean prosecution were to go to the full extent, he could be seeing up to 10 years in prison.
Holy shit.
And there are former UDT special op members who are looking for him. So he's got the mob and he's got the special ops to deal with. This man's ops are unrivaled in the field of ops. He claims he's in a U.S. Army base, which apparently he isn't, according to this user, because there's 3 bases in Korea. 2 of them are too far out of Seoul, and all of them are off limits for civilians, let alone a nuisance to enter.
Yeah, you can't. If you're an American and you travel, you can't just walk on an American military base. You got to have like a family member there, or you got to be a part of the military.
So he's still in Korea and confirmed to have claimed that comfort women were prostitutes. Oh, Jesus. Also, it's been noted the drug charge in of itself is 10 years, so the combined sentence, if found guilty, could well be over 10 years. And there's a big fight is talking about between, Johnny Somali and other racists versus Korean streamers. Also, the deepfake charges were apparently him trying to prove he had a Korean girlfriend or had some kind of fling. So he was using AI to portray that illusion, hence a deepfake.
He's such a loser. He can't even like pay for a girl to hang out with him. He has to have an AI girlfriend. What a fucking loser.
Charge. It's not sexual deepfake charges that Korea's been seeing in the lately in the news, but it's still a deepfake, so you'll probably be charged with the same law. So look, at the end of all this, ladies and gentlemen, what have I learned is that if you're a nuisance streamer like Johnny Somali, the clout is not worth it. And even if you were just a person going out, what happened to like basic respect, bro? The entire world is laughing at you, and ultimately, even if you made like $1 million out of this, the fact that you are now basically going to be put up for a possible jail and that whatever money you made, possibly fined to ever-loving hell, wasn't really worth it at the end of the day. Was clout really the drug that should have been chased?
Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been something that's been like basically assaulting every feed that I've had for the last few days, and I couldn't help but not laugh. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there's no way to really end this video without laughing and not feeling bad for this guy. Johnny Somali is.
We can end the video by laughing and not feeling bad for him. In fact, Mudahar, I don't even want to hear you say something nice about him because you are such a nice person. Mudahar is awesome. So I'm going to link this in the description. Please go to The Ordinary Gamer, subscribe, let them know that I sent you. There might be 5 people that do that, and for the 5 of you that do, I fucking love you. Kiss you right on the forehead. But even if you did make $1 million chasing this clout, right? At the end of the day, when we're on our deathbed, we're looking back at the world. Are you gonna really be proud that you made $1 million, or are you gonna be more upset that you brought hate, anger, bigotry, racism, stupidity, all of this to other cultures that you should be